Hi, this is Chris, Video Game Dust Leaves, and you're listening to the VGDS podcast with Bonesy06.
Good evening.
DanCavDragon,
Hello, everyone.
Dizzy the Gamer Jit,
How's it going?
and new to the podcast, Dan B from the Game Beaters.
Hey.
First segment is Sleeve It or Leave It. First title is Forgotten Worlds for the Sega Genesis. Dan, Sleeve It or Leave It.
Which one?
Go ahead, Dan B. Go ahead, Dan
All
B.
right. Forgotten Worlds, I would sleeve it.
Dan Cav.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't appreciate this game much
Well,
at the
thank you.
time, but I definitely would sleeve it.
Bones.
Man, I don't know. I'm gonna pass.
What a surprise. Dizzy.
I don't know much about the gameplay, but the front cover looks pretty cool, so I would sleeve it.
The next title, Generations Lost, also for the Sega Genesis. Bones. So
I already have this game and it's complete in box, so I'm gonna pass again.
Shocker. Dizzy.
I'm gonna pass. That doesn't look like something I want.
Dan Cav.
Yeah, I don't have this game, but I'm curious about it, so I would probably sleeve it.
And Dan B.
I guess I'm gonna leave it because I don't know what that game is at all. I don't know what kind of game it is or anything like that, so I guess leave it.
See, that's the good thing about doing something like this. Typically, not everybody knows all the titles, so it gives you a chance to be like, okay, let me go search that game now.
Right.
All right. Next title. I think most people would know this. Three Ninjas Kick Back for Super Nintendo. Bones.
I feel compelled to say yes, so I'm gonna go with yes.
Dizzy.
Rocky loves Emily. I would sleeve that. Hell yeah.
Dan B.
I'm gonna leave it. That's just not. I've played it before. Not my thing. Not my thing.
Dan Cav.
Yeah, same here. I'm not a big fan of this at all, so I'll leave it.
Last title, Cutthroat Island. Dizzy.
I'm gonna pass. The cover doesn't look that interesting to me.
Bones.
I'm gonna go with the opposite. I think that cover just interests me, so I'm gonna go with yes.
Dan Cav.
Yeah, I remember this movie was a flop, so I probably
Yeah, it
wouldn't.
was.
So I wouldn't sleeve it. I would sleeve Hook, which is the better of the two pirate movies, but this one no.
And Dan B.
As much as I liked Gina Davis back then, I think I'm gonna have to leave it.
All right, on to the next segment. Guess that box art. Hey, Bones, you want to give it a go for the first one?
Gosh, it's so familiar.
It is, and you're going to
Right.
hit yourself in the head when you find out what it is.
Dr. Mario?
No.
I don't know.
Does
I was
anybody...
looking at it, but I can't figure it out.
It's
Does-
like I know it's for Genesis. It's like Hetty or something. It's like the guy that throws his head, right?
You're close. You're close. It is for the Genesis.
Yeah. I recognize it.
Is that the Noid?
It's not
Oh.
Toe Jam and Earl.
No, it's not.
I do know it. If
You know it,
so I'll
Dan?
I do know it, but anybody else can guess first.
Dan B, you're kind of on the right track, but
Yeah, I
it's...
just can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. If I give you like the first letter of the word, the first word, would that help?
Maybe.
It's a D.
Is it Dynamite? Dynamite Hetty?
No.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Dan.
Is it Decap Attack?
Yep.
Yeah.
Decap attack. You are correct.
I don't even have that.
There's one for you to look up.
I know the next thing is a Master System, I believe,
Jeez, how could you tell?
but I could not tell you the game.
Really?
I think I know
That's
it.
kind
I
of
think I know
surprising.
it.
Go ahead, Dan B.
I think it's Bubble Bobble.
It is for the Sega Master System.
Nice.
Nice.
Woo!
I never
Um,
would have got that.
How many points do I get?
500.
Final Jeopardy.
Yeah. Actually, believe it or not, both of these titles I've used before, but not for guess that box art. The Decap Attack was a Sleeve It or Leave It in podcast 48 with Iowa Retro Gamer Dad, and Bubble Bobble was also a Sleeve It or Leave It for podcast number 52 with OWASP. So I'm gonna start incorporating some of the Sleeve It or Leave It into the Guess That Box art. So you guys should be kind of familiar with some of them if you pay attention.
That's why it looked familiar to me then.
Probably because it's been in here before. All right, boss.
Okay, everybody. This month's guest gamer, Dan, is here, and we have his Game Beaters logo sleeve. That is the logo sleeve of the month.
Wow, what a cool sleeve.
Yeah, how about that? If you are interested in one of these, just contact Chris at Video Game Dust Sleeves, and he will hook you up with one.
Yep.
Dan, we have a question. We'd like to know what game you would like to see donning your logo sleeve. What should people put in there?
Oh, well, the one I have currently has Mega Man 2 in the sleeve. So that'd be a good
Right. Nice pick.
one. But, the Game Beaters were actually in a Nintendo game. It's an aftermarket game or whatever, but there's a game called Turtle Paint that came out on Homebrew, and he threw us in there as an Easter egg, a comic
Cool.
version of it.
Nice.
So if you have that game, that's a perfect game to throw in.
There you go. That's an even better pick.
For sure.
Nice.
That's cool.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah,
I
it is.
didn't think
Yeah,
it
it
was
is.
going to go there.
Yeah.
Nope. Nobody's ever said that before. So
Never.
Right. My
You were the
game.
first one, Dan. Nice.
why don't you just
Very
put
cool.
me? I'm in it. Put me in it.
Yeah, it's like that couldn't have gone any better in my eyes. Okay, Dan Cav, franchise of the month, buddy.
All
Yeah.
right. Yep. So franchise of the month. Every month we pick a franchise and discuss it amongst ourselves. This month I picked Prince of Persia. This is a series we haven't talked about before. So just curious to see if you've ever played this series. Do you have any of the games? If so, what do you think of it? Which one's your favorite? Anything else you'd like to share about Prince of Persia? Let's start with Bones at the top.
Well, I have the one for NES. I didn't really play a whole lot of it. It didn't really pique my interest all that much. The one I've played really is for the PlayStation 2, which I did enjoy. I didn't even realize they made this many Prince of Persia games. Like, there's a lot here, and I don't have them. So I'm not that well-rounded in Prince of Persia, I guess. Looks like I need to step up my skills and pick up a few more of these games.
Well, I mean, they are remastering the Sands of Time, which is the first PlayStation game. They're remastering that and retooling it to come out for next generation platforms. It's got delayed. It was supposed to come out already, but I think it's been pushed back. So something to look out for. If you missed them the first time around, they're going to be coming back, remastered. So
Yeah, I think that'll be pretty cool remastered.
yeah. So how about you, Dan B? Are you a Prince of Persia fan at all?
I mean, Prince of Persia, as a little tiny Dan B, I played on the PC, the original version, and I remember loving the animation and stuff like that. I thought the animation was great, even though you die a lot because you're in the middle of the animation every time you're trying to get away from something or crap. But and then after that, I just thought this game's too hard, and I kind of avoided Prince of Persia ever since. Although I did have the PlayStation 2 one, which I kind of barely remember, to be honest. So that's all I have experience with Prince of Persia, really.
I see. Yeah, but it's nice that you played the original. I mean, yeah, this is a weird series because it started really early on as a PC and computer, and then it was later ported to Nintendo and stuff. But it goes way back, and then there was a long pause where there wasn't really much going on, and then they brought it back in the early 2000s for the PlayStation and Xbox, and those consoles. So, and it was really popular at the time. So,
And there was a movie too.
yeah, for sure. All right, Dizzy, how about you in Prince of Persia?
Yeah, same as Bones. I didn't know they made this many. I do have one on the GameCube. I don't know if it's Sands of Time or if it's one that's not on here. But the only experience I had was one day I wanted to play Dreamcast with my kids, so I picked this game up, and then I looked at the rating on the back, and I read a couple things. I'm like, yeah, this is not something I could play with my kid. So I played the beginning by myself for a little bit, but that was it. I didn't play much of it after that, so not too much experience.
Oh man, we're striking out with Prince of Persia. No big fans here. Chris.
Don't even come to me then. See how easy I made that?
Do you own any Prince of Persia games?
I think I own a PlayStation 3 one. But I think that's it. I never even opened it, never dabbled in it. I know nothing about it. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's a pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty good series. The ones that came out for the PlayStation onward, it was pretty popular at the time. I mean, they made a lot of sequels, and it was kind of like God of War before God of War, you know. So the cool thing about Prince of Persia is that you have this power to rewind time. So if you like miss a jump, or if you like get killed, you can rewind gameplay for a few seconds and redo moves and stuff, and you have a limited amount of power to do that. And then so there was three games, like a trilogy that came out for the PlayStation 2, and then they rebooted the series, and there's like a standalone Prince of Persia game that came for PS3, and that's in the picture there. And then there's various ports for like PSP and Wii and all that, but
didn't the Wii get a terrible review? Like, isn't that a terrible game?
Yeah.
I think the Wii gets a lot of terrible reviews.
Yeah.
The motion controls.
Yeah, that's a lot of people complain about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like what Dan B mentioned in the beginning, for the computer, this was really known for its like animation. Like they did a really good job of animating the character. But I agree that the controls are a little weird because like he's animated so much that he's kind of like sluggish, or there's like a delay in how you have to, and when you move and how he moves, and so like, you die a lot in that game. So yeah. So. All right, not the best, not the most popular franchise of the month I've ever done, but
well, honestly, there's a lot like this, Dan. So
yeah,
where you just don't have much to talk about, but that's okay. I mean,
yeah, but.
It's good. It's games for us to look for now.
Exactly.
And try.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend
it. Pickup.
Yep, I definitely recommend checking out at least.
Like, think about it, Dan. It's not like you picked a franchise where everybody was like, "Yo, this franchise sucks," and that's why we are talking about it. It's nobody knew they even made that many of them.
Yeah.
So if I was to say which one should I get into, if I wanted to try one of these, which one would it be?
I think Sands of Time, the first on the bottom row, the first one on the bottom row. That's the beginning of the trilogy, and that one was just overall a well-rounded game. It was very impressive. The second and third one in the trilogy are more the same. It took a slightly more darker tone to it. It had more of a hard rock soundtrack. The second and third one, more grittier. It was I think it was trying to be more edgy. And then the fourth one, it looks pretty. That one, the animation, it's kind of like Borderlands. It's like cel shaded animation, so it looks like a cartoon, but it's similar gameplay. So they're all pretty good on the PlayStation consoles. I would stick with that series. And then, like I said, they're remastering it for like PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and it's been pushed back till next year. So definitely catch it the second time around if you haven't got it yet.
Well, the first three, aren't they on Xbox, GameCube, and PS2?
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for Game of the Month. Or sorry, that's it for Franchise of the Month. Sorry.
Hey, it's all good. I mean, it could be your Game of the Month.
Sorry, Dan.
It could be.
You're done for the night.
Yeah. We just skipped Dan B. We just skipped your whole interview. Like,
yeah. Next.
Next time.
Thanks for coming, Dan.
You didn't get a chance to talk, but that's fine. That's okay. You don't need to talk. We already know all about you, Dan.
Hey, I'm good. I'm good not talking. It's fine.
I want to know more.
Well, on that note, we're gonna find out more now about Dan. Dan, this is the time where we can get to know you a little bit better. First off, like, where can we find you? Because not everybody is going to know who Dan B is and where to find him. So first, tell us where we can find you. If you want to answer like a few questions, like what you collect, what you play, what you do on your streams, stuff like that. You can kind of like give us like a little overview, and from there we'll just ask you just a few questions, and that's it.
Sure. All right. My name's Dan B. I have a channel called The Game Beaters on YouTube. We also do TikTok and Instagram. So you name the social media, we're on there. And when I say we, it's me and another guy. His name's Dick Boots. And then we have a third guy that sometimes comes in, and it's another Dan actually. And we call him the Evil Dan. And basically, we just we cover a lot of stuff. It's mainly retro games, but we do like a lot of modern retro games as well. Like I was saying earlier about how we have a game that we're in that's a new Nintendo game. We cover a lot of new homebrew games for NES, Super Nintendo. You know, wherever the homebrew games are coming out. We've done like an Amiga new one. So we do a lot of that kind of stuff, and we're kind of a comedy-based channel. You know, all of our live streams we do, it's just us trying to be complete idiots and be funny. It's basically like watching Beavis and Butthead. So yeah, it's, you know, it's like if Beavis and Butthead were reacting to the games they're playing. That's kind of what we do. You know, but we do, like on the channel, we'll do serious reviews too, and sometimes we'll review products and all that. We kind of just run the gamut. Everything that we like and we're into that's video game related, we do it on the channel.
So what do you personally collect the most? Do you collect?
Yeah, I do collect. Gosh, I mean, NES is my passion. That's like the one that I started with for the most part. I actually started playing video games before the NES, like with Atari and Odyssey. But NES is when I really caught the bug and needed to play everything I could get my hands on. I actually used to keep a notebook when I was a kid, and I'd rent every single game, and whatever I could beat, I'd check it off the list. And I had something like 500 games at one point checked off.
Nice.
So,
damn.
Yeah.
You went through quite a bit of gaming.
Yeah, I did. And like people would call me from school, you know, in high school they'd call me, they're like, Dan, how do you pass the boss on Ninja Gaiden? You know, stuff like that. And I would just help them out. So yeah, I've been into collecting for a long time, and a couple of years back, I'd say like, what is that, like 15 years ago now, my whole collection got wiped out in a flood.
Oh.
Man. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. I lost PlayStation, everything, man. It was bad. So I've been slowly recollecting over the years, and you know, I'm up to a couple hundred NES games, but I got everything. I've got Sega Saturn, I've got all the PlayStation. I basically have every console you can think of. You name it, I probably have it. Like just today, I picked up a analog Pocket. I don't know if you guys know what that is. But
Dan does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was playing with it a little bit before the podcast, and I'm having trouble setting it up, but I'll get to it. So yeah, anything else?
I'm gonna pass it over to Bones. Bones, you got any questions?
So I have to ask, first question of all is there a story behind why he's evil Dan?
Yeah, it's a lame story, but basically, Dick Boots and I, we are Cub fans, and he's a Cardinal fan, and he's like, I'm happy to be an evil Cardinal fan. That's fine. It's like a whole baseball thing that we just have, because we all went to high school together, by the way. So that's, and so we've been hanging out for years now. You know.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was probably the one item, since you're one of the few people that lost your collection in that manner?
Hmm.
What was one of the few items that you wish you could get back now that you don't have still that you lost?
You know what? I had all the original. This isn't a video game item, but I had all the original TMNT comics from Mirage,
Ooh.
and those all got wiped out.
Hmm.
So I wish I had
Damn.
those still.
Ay. Are you
Yeah.
going for any full sets of anything, or are you just casually collecting everything or specifics?
Now I'm just casually collecting things. People know that I'm out looking, and so I'll get calls like, "Hey, did you see this in the paper, or did you see that?" Like people will know that I'm looking for stuff, but I'm not like out there trying to get the Holy Grail or anything like that. I don't need Little Samson. It'd be cool to have it if I came across it and I had $50 that they wanted for it.
Yeah, right. The perfect world.
I'll say, what year did you go back to?
Yeah, I know. But you never know. You always hear those stories like, oh, this grandmother was selling all her Nintendo games for $5 a piece, and
I mean, it could still possibly happen one day, but those possibilities
That's,
are far few in between.
That's before COVID.
yeah,
I mean, you never know.
Yeah, you're right.
You can
You're
run into somebody. I mean,
Sometimes
That's crazy.
your neighbor will give you Atari games that she didn't want anymore. That happened to me. I mean,
yeah, that happened to me. Remember the
Yeah.
Atari porn games?
Yep.
The guy didn't say, his wife found out that they were worth money, and he was going to give them to me, and she didn't let him. She sold them for hundreds of dollars a piece.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like, why did you even tell your wife?
Yeah.
Like, I collect video games. He's like, I completely forgot about it. Man, ay. Well, that definitely does suck, but it's good that you're still in the hobby and you're still collecting and going back into it.
yeah. I probably gave it up for like 5 years though. I was just like, nah, I don't need that stuff anymore, and But after a while, I started getting this and that. Bought a PlayStation 3, I think, is when it started again, and then just slowly got back into it.
Well, what's nice is that you don't have to always be on that train of playing them. You can take a break, but as long as you always have them, you can go back and just play them. You don't have to hunt them all down again and find them.
Right. Plus, I got into emulation. That kind of actually brought me back in. Was I don't know if you guys know who Mad Little Pixel is, but he like helped me get my YouTube channel going, and because he was doing these emulation videos, and I was talking to him behind the scenes about them and stuff, and he got me into emulation. He sold me like my first YouTube camera and microphone and RetroPie and stuff, and I just thought, wow, it's so cool to get back into these old games again. But the thing is, like they don't quite react like a real console game does.
Nope.
And you're like wishing to have that, and so it kind of drew me back in, and I had to get the real console again and do all that. So.
When he's reviewing a janky system, it's hilarious.
Oh yeah,
It's hilarious.
He'll tear him up.
He'll say "and whatnot" so many times because it's such garbage.
Right.
Oh man! But I can pass it off now.
What?
Dan, you can go next.
All
Dan
right.
Cav.
All right. Well, I do appreciate the fact that you were mentioning Atari and Odyssey, those old systems, and that's cool that you go that far back and have played those. I appreciate that. Since I'm a little bit on the older side, so like I actually grew up in the Atari era. But what is your favorite? What would you say is what are some of your favorite consoles that of all time that you've gone back to?
Well, like I said, NES is probably my favorite, but I don't know. It's hard to say. I really have a love for the original Xbox. I played a lot of that. So I worked at a video game store during that generation, the Xbox, GameCube, and PS2 generation. Like when those all three were coming out, the switch between PS1 and PS2, that kind of thing. And I played so many video games then. Um, so that generation and the Nintendo. I mean, I was big into Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis as well. Maybe Genesis would come in second place if I had to pick a second place.
I
So-
see. How about modern consoles? Are you keeping up with all the latest things as well?
Yeah, I have a PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and gotta have the physical versions of those.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I've been really enjoying PSVR lately. That's been a new thing I just recently picked up. Friend of mine needed some money. He had a PSVR, sold it to me pretty cheap, and been kind of diving into that a lot lately.
Cool. Yeah, a couple of us have it. Bones has one, and
Yep, I got it.
yeah. And
Yeah.
Any
Any good
motion
games?
sickness with that, Dan?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been playing a lot of Trover lately, and I can only go for like an hour before I have to be like, okay, take this off.
Yeah, you do have to take breaks.
Yeah, definitely.
I just have one other question. What was my question? I forgot what it was.
It's all good there. I got one for you instead, Dan.
Okay.
What type of games do you gravitate towards? Like platformers, shooters?
Yeah, I like platformers, I like action adventure games, but I kind of like RPGs too.
Okay.
So I like Earthbound or I don't know, I like weird games too, like what's that game? Jeez, I can't think of it. Like Stanley Parable, have you ever played that? They're like games that are kind of like they don't fit into a genre. I kind of like those kind of things.
Cool.
Also on the channel we play a lot of adult theme games, by the way. That's another kind of
What's
thing I like.
one adult theme games you played?
Well, we played all the Atari ones.
Okay. The ones Bones was talking about.
Yeah. But we've played they make more modern ones too. Like there's one called House Party that we played, and that's crazy.
Have you played Bubble Bobble? I mean, is that what? No,
Bubble
Bath
Bath
Babes. Yeah.
Yeah, we've done Bubble Bath Babes. And then there's this.
Hot Slots, I think, is another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a modern company that does pixelated games, and they do like Castlevania style games, but like it's like a nude protagonist, like female protagonist. So you're whipping and stuff, and your boobs are flopping and stuff. It's interesting.
Gotta check that out.
But yeah, so we play that kind of stuff too. But I wouldn't say that those are my favorite. They're fun to play, especially like streaming and like, people get on and they have a good time seeing something they haven't really seen before. But yeah, I just like your standard Mario games and things like that. I like AAA, really good games.
Cool.
Yeah.
Who doesn't? Games are games. Like I like even playing like the ones that people don't want to play, because I think that just I try to give every game a chance at least once.
Yeah. Even if a game is like notoriously bad, I want to experience it.
Exactly. Like I played Babysitting Mama, man.
Yeah.
Like I played them all. I got the one with it actually comes with a baby.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got that. I've played it. I played it with my daughter. So
I was wondering about I hung out with at the last game convention, Gaming Off the Grid, and they said that they've just bought that and they were gonna
Did they
do
really?
something with, yeah, they were telling me about it. And I didn't believe them. I was like, are you for real? This is a real thing?
yeah, it's a real thing.
That's cool. That's cool.
Dan, did you remember that question?
I did actually.
Okay,
Sorry.
good,
Yeah. VR. Talking about VR sidetracked me, but so what is? You said you beat like 500 Nintendo games. I'm curious to see what you thought were some of the. Well, I guess a couple questions here. Like, what were some of the hardest games you ever beat? It could be for any console, but in NES, since you mentioned you beat so many. And do you remember any endings in particular that were some of the best endings of video games?
I mean, I would have to say that probably the Ninja Gaiden series are probably the hardest I've been through. I can't. And have the best endings. Like that's what I loved about the series was like all the cinema scenes, you know, the way that they cinematically put it together. Because at the time of the NES, like we hadn't really seen much like that. We hadn't seen things that were so, you know, the storyline was there and they were done really well with the graphics. And then all the Mega Man games. Mega Man's like my favorite NES series. And some people think they're really difficult. I don't know. I just know them like the back of my hand now, so I don't know exactly what difficulty actually is. But I know there's a lot of hard games that I don't know if I could beat.
Ghosts and Goblins.
Ghosts and Goblins, I beat that, but I don't think I beat the second loop ever. You know, but I was like, I remember being at the time like, you know what, that's good enough. The first loop,
Right.
back in the day, because I didn't know any better. I was like, oh, I'm not going through this again. It was difficult enough. And I had other games to get to. That game's tough.
That game is crazy.
Yeah. And it's kind of broken a little bit too, but
Which makes it worse.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I would say those games.
All right, cool. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you about Ninja Gaiden. It's at the time, like the cinema scenes blew me away, and I was just like, "Wow, this is so next level," you know. But then the game was so difficult. I didn't even get to see all the cinema scenes. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
That's what drove me to get through them.
yeah. I tried. I just couldn't do it.
Sure.
All right, thanks. That's all I have.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, Dizzy.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like hearing how you had like 500 games on a list you beat. That's pretty amazing. Usually when I was a kid, I would just play the games just to pass the time and try to get better and better, but never really beat any of them. Can you remember what the first or some of the first games you beat were?
I definitely remember beating Mario Brothers, the Super Mario Brothers. Like, I got an NES, and all I could think about, like, at school was I'd hear the Mario music all day long, and I couldn't wait to get home and play it and try to beat it, and that cemented my addiction right there was beating that Super Mario Brothers. And then after that, we got Adventures of Lolo, and I was in a race. My father was playing it at the same time I was, and we were in a race to see who could beat it first, and I beat it first. And yeah, I remember that being pretty awesome. So those are like the two earliest games I can think of.
Nice, good games too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when I was younger, it wasn't really the Atari age, but I had an Atari like in '93, and in television, those were my first consoles before I ever got the NES. Was the NES your first console, or did you have consoles before that?
So my first console, I was very, very young, but my grandfather gave me his Odyssey 2, and it came
Ooh,
with
nice.
yeah, and it came with he had a couple games, Casey's Crazy Chase, and there was some like RPG game that I barely remember, and it had like some solitaire kind of games and car racing games and things like that. But yeah, that's the earliest console I had.
Yeah, that's a good console to have too. I like those older consoles. They're like the graphics aren't that good, but it just brings back memories of what we had before we had 8-bit, before we had NES. It was like simple times, simple games, and for some reason I like the sound effects in those games. They're so nostalgic to me. We were talking earlier about how your TikTok was the first video I seen with the Super Punch Out hack where you could play 2-player. What are your thoughts on that 2-player aspect? Is it fun? Is it good? Or is it crappy? Like how does it play?
It's a little bit janky because I don't think that. So it's like, you know, you're the first player is the boxer, the normal boxer. I want to call him Little Mac, but I know it's a different character. But you're that guy, and then the second player plays whoever you pick to fight against, and each one controls a little different, and you don't really know what you're doing until you've played a few times. But because the boxers can, like normally when you fight them, they're moving to a certain pattern, but now there's no pattern whatsoever, and you can just spam special moves on Little Mac the whole time, So some fighters are very much impossible to beat, and then some of them they just fight so slow that Mac can beat them no matter what. So it's a little jank, but it's still fun. I'd still recommend if you have a friend and you can do it with a friend. It's a great fun time to have, on your Super NES together. Kills a good half hour.
That's what I was gonna say. If you could get two people in the room at the same time nowadays, that probably would be fun. Just because it's been like 30 years and nobody's done it. Like, besides you, I probably don't even know anybody who's done 2-player on that game so far. So it'd be pretty cool to see in real life.
Yeah.
And you were saying how you do retro, but you also do modern. Is there any good modern games that you would recommend?
Trying to think what the best modern game I've played recently was probably Guardians of the Galaxy. I couldn't put that game down when I started playing it. It was just really good. It was a fun story, made me laugh a bunch, and it's not too hard, doesn't take too long. Because I kind of like that. The thing about modern games I don't like sometimes is they're like hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
And being a retro gamer, it's like I like to get in and get out, you know? But some games, they're just so fun that it's like, okay, I can go along with this as long as it lasts, and then when it's done, it's done. And that would be one that I enjoyed recently.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
Yeah.
Most of us in here are collectors like yourself, but we also collect other stuff besides just video games. Is there anything you would say is like odd that you collect? Like, I collect VHS. It's not really that odd to collectors, but regular person at your job or something, it's gonna be weird to them. Is there anything like odd that you collect?
I don't know if it's odd, but I have like 17 guitars. Is that odd?
That's pretty cool.
Okay.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah. So I play guitar, and I have a lot. I have my own recording studio and stuff. So
Nice.
yeah. So I'm into guitar a lot too.
Yeah, you said you worked at a game store before in like the Xbox PS2 era,
Yeah.
and I'm really into PS2. Like, the GTA trilogy on PS2 is my favorite. Like, what are some of your favorite PS2 games that you could still play nowadays and get stuck playing those games, just want to keep playing and playing?
I mean GTA. That's a great series there.
Yeah.
And that's back when they still had the the cheats in there that you can. That you
Yeah,
can't
those
get
are
anymore.
also fun.
Yeah. So that's a good one, and trying to think of what I have recently. I just broke out my PlayStation 4 recently. It'd been collecting dust for the past like 2 years, so trying to think of anything else I've played recently on there. I mean, I picked it up because I bought Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for it, and I'd never played it before. The TMNT game. From the movie from 2008 or whatever it was.
Yeah, the computer animated one. I think I have that one.
That one. And I never played it before, and we played it on stream, and it was all right. I was really getting into it, and I wanted to finish it, but our streams only go 2 hours, and we were only like halfway through it. So that's one I might go back to pretty soon.
Is there any like Sega games that you really recommend? I think you were saying how you played Nintendo a lot, but you also like Sega. Is there any
Yeah.
good games on that console you would recommend?
Ooh, Sega Genesis games. I mean, you gotta love the Sonic games, but everybody knows those. I'm a huge Sonic fan, by the way. I got a ton of Sonic stuff, and I just love Sonic. But as far as like hidden gems or something, I mean, nothing that nobody doesn't know about. Like Musha's a really good one, but that's $1 million if you can find it somewhere.
Right.
But yeah, I can't really think of anything offhand. There's a lot of, I mean, like I played recently a game called Coffee Crisis. That's a aftermarket game that came out like 2 years ago. That's pretty cool for beat 'em up on Sega Genesis. I play a lot of those kind of games, the new games that are coming out. For
Yeah,
old
those are
systems.
good too. Yeah, the like modern games for retro systems, hacks
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Those are pretty cool ones.
yeah, I do a lot of that stuff. I got
Last
a
question then.
Oh.
Would you or have you used the Game Genie for Sega for like Knuckles and stuff? Have you used that Game Genie?
Um, I it's been a long time. I was the only person I knew back in the day that had a Game Genie for Nintendo for the NES, and I eventually got one for the Sega, but I don't remember anything I did with it. I used to just get it for the NES just so I could see like, oh, what's it like if Mario jumps the flagpole? Like answer questions that you always want to know, like, oh, what's behind that wall, or what happens if you can, kill this guy in under 3 seconds or something. I would always like try to answer these questions that would nag at me, but I can't remember doing anything specifically with the Genesis one. I just remember having it what it looks like. That's it. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all I've ever played with it was just a Knuckles game.
Mm-hmm. What did you
And
do
that
with
was
it?
pretty fun. I think it gives you like the ability to climb walls. It's the same game as the Sonic one, but you can climb the walls with Knuckles, so you can like go to different parts of the games and stuff like that. But at the same time, that was like maybe 25 years ago, so I don't remember myself.
Oh, okay. All right. Are you talking about the add-on to this? So like Sonic came out, like Sonic 3, and then they had a Knuckles add-on that you could put on to
Yeah,
Sonic 3
that's
or
the one.
Sonic 2. Okay. All right, I was confused. But yeah, I
Well, we
remember
would
that.
put that also. We'd put all two of those on top of the Sega, the Game Genie, and I think there was other stuff you could do with it, but it's been a while myself.
Yeah. But yeah, that's fun. I always liked how Sega you could stack those carts like that. Sega you could just build a tower of
Right?
power.
So, do you have a streaming schedule, Dan?
We stream every Tuesday at 7 p.m. both on YouTube and Twitch. That's it.
And you release videos how often, or is it just here and there?
Here and there, whenever we can. I try to get out 2 videos a week besides the stream.
Right, that's typical YouTube.
Yeah,
Like 2 videos and the stream.
Right. And then we try to do shorts too, like maybe 1 or 2
Right.
shorts as well. So
Yeah, that's new. So
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
and that's part of the TikTok thing too.
yeah. So you're like a walking strategy guy for all those people coming up to you, huh?
I used to be. Yeah. A lot of that
Nintendo
knowledge is
Hotline.
gone. Yeah, they'd call me because it wasn't free to call the Nintendo hotline back.
That's
in the day.
right. That's right. It costs to call that place.
Yeah.
Do you have
They
any?
didn't-
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say they didn't mind making you wait on hold.
Oh,
too.
definitely
Like
Oh,
not.
yeah.
99 a
Definitely.
minute, and you're on hold forever.
Add up
Just,
those minutes.
hold on, we'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll try to figure it out for you.
Yeah. All right. Did
What
you
were
have
you
any questions for us?
Oh, so you guys are all on YouTube, but one of you, is that right?
Yeah, DanCavDragon. DanCavDragon is Instagram strictly.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And so can I start with Dan? Like, what do you do on Instagram?
I post pretty regularly. I post my collection, things I pick up. That's about it. Just my own little personal collection and things I'm picking up. One thing I'm also mixing a little. I collect Legos. I mix in some Legos in there. But basically, yeah, just showing off my collection.
Very cool. And how can I find you on there?
It's DanCavDragon. So
Okay.
yeah, definitely give me a follow. I'll follow you back.
Yeah, I will. And then if the rest of you guys don't mind telling me about your YouTube a little bit.
Well, mine's collecting and pickups. I haven't posted anything in fairly a long time, but that's basically what my whole channel is. There's not much gameplay on it. I don't live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Life is busy at the moment, so YouTube is taking a back seat at the moment.
Yeah, it did. I mean, during the pandemic, it did for me too. We took like 8, 9 months off. So I hear you. But what's your latest pickup, if you don't mind?
Oh, what was my latest pickup? I think it was the last retro game treasure box I got.
Oh, is that a good company?
Yeah, I've had good and bad with them.
Okay.
Like, I had some outstanding boxes, like where I've got like $100 game in the box, which that's awesome. But then
Yeah.
I've had other really bad months. So
So does it even out, would you say?
yeah, for the most part, I would say it would. The final draw for me was I canceled my service, and I had 2 boxes coming, and they acknowledged my one email, canceled it, and then didn't acknowledge the other email, and then just renewed my subscription again. So I got a little hissy pissy, and that was the extent of it for them. I was done then. I'm like, yeah, it ran its course. I had them for like 5 years. I think I was close to 4 or 5 years. I was getting boxes from them, so like I said, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always looked at it and thought, yeah, it might be fun to do for a couple months, but I just never made the plunge because I've seen other people opening them, and sometimes they're great, and sometimes it's like, ooh, I would have been pissed if I got that box.
Yeah, I got a lot of good Sega CD games from them, believe it or not.
Oh.
Now, Sega CD and Dreamcast and stuff has been dropped from their site, as far as I remember.
Oh, that sucks. Okay. All right. And then, what about you, Dizzy?
Mine's I do a little bit of content. Been doing some new shorts, but really just streaming. Streaming mostly PlayStation 2. I try to be entertaining, so a lot of times I don't play games off stream, so a lot of times I'm just rolling the dice when I play a game, putting it in. Never played it before, or it's been like 25 years since I played it, so. But I try to be entertaining, so I have this thing where people call me on the phone and they ask me what I have for sale, and I pretend like I'm selling like Funko Pops or VHS tapes, just something to keep the audience, glued and looking at what I'm doing. So,
Yeah.
but mostly just streaming.
Right on. And is your channel Dizzy the Gamer?
Yeah, Dizzy the Gamer Jit. Yep, just
Okay.
like that.
Cool. Yeah, I'll check that out. And
I
then,
appreciate it.
Yeah. And then, hey, video game dust sleeves.
Yes.
I'm just curious, how did you get into doing video game dust sleeves?
Oh man, that's I actually did a podcast on that, believe it or not. Yeah, it's somewhere. I forget what number that was, but yeah, I did.
Well, I
but
mean, like the quick abbreviated.
yeah, the quick
rundown?
abbreviated rundown is I had loose carts, and I didn't have any dust sleeves for them, and I thought to myself, well, there's got to be a way to do this on your own, and that's pretty much the quick and easy rundown.
Yeah.
And it kind of like blew up from there. Initially I found some templates online, and I think it was just the basic templates, like NES dust sleeve, an N64 dust sleeve, and a Super NES dust sleeve. And it grew from there. Like all these dust sleeves you see now, that was me personally putting them together. But like I started from somewheres, and I found I don't even know where I found it from, to be honest with you. It was so long ago. I've been doing this for oh man, good 15 years probably.
Oh wow.
And
I had no idea it was that long.
yeah, nobody knew that actually. I started on Facebook, and then from there I went to Instagram, where I picked up a little bit more, and then from there I met J Love. You know J Love.
I do. That's how I've heard of you at first.
Right. So I met J Love. Jen was like, you need to get on Twitter and YouTube, because if you get on YouTube, I'll be able to introduce more people to you through my live streams. And I kind of went off from there, and met a lot of people through Jen. And then that's when she's the first logo sleeve that I've ever did. I got the idea from her. Like, well, I came up with the idea, but initially, if it wasn't for her, I would have never thought of doing logo sleeves.
I see.
And I had asked her, I was like, do you have a logo? And she said no. I was like, how about I make a logo for you? And she said, okay. And from there, I was like, you know what, let me put this logo on a sleeve and see, and I'll just send it to her in a box. And I did, and she liked it. And then from there, I just started making logo sleeves.
Nice, nice. And then other people saw what you did for her and they
Yes.
wanted the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I started just, as I got to know people on YouTube, I just started asking them, hey, do you want a logo sleeve? And obviously, I don't charge anything for that. Anything that you buy off of me is at cost. I don't make money. So this is just a hobby.
Right. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then it led to this podcast.
And then it led to this podcast. And this podcast actually was, believe it or not, Linda, aka the Gamer Girl, which is the Gamer Gal now. I did the podcast initially with her because I was talking to her, and she was like, why don't you just do something, do the podcast or something? Like, you keep saying you're going to do it. And one day I was just like, all right, screw it, let's do it. And I did it. I did the first podcast with her, and she was my co-host for about, I want to say, close to 40 some episodes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So in the beginning, that's what it was. It was like Linda and myself, and then Linda, myself, and DanCavDragon came in, and then it was us three for a while, and then it was me, and Linda, DanCav, then Bones, and it was been us four for pretty much every episode up to like 40 or 45-ish.
What are you on now?
We're on 68, I think. 67,
Oh,
68.
Nice.
And we're still going, so
Nice. Yeah, Linda's a great person. I've had her on.
Yeah.
I have a podcast on the side that I do that's just a totally different thing. And she was on that. And then I helped her with her new logo on her channel, too.
cool.
So, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for answering my questions.
No problem. Do you guys have any other questions for Dan?
Yeah, is that podcast on the same Game Beaters channel, or is it on a different channel?
No, I have a music channel that I do, and on my music channel, I interview a bunch of different creative people. So it's like musicians, artists, and once in a while YouTubers. And yeah, she was a fan of the what I was doing on that channel, and I asked her, why don't you be on the podcast? So
What's that channel? What's the name of that channel?
it's called I think it's just called Dan B Music. I think. Let me look real quick. It got changed recently, and I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it's just called Dan B Music. Dan B is what it's actually just called.
Nice.
So-
I'll check that out right now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I got all kinds of music videos on there and podcasts and all kinds of stuff.
Speaking of art, did you do the logo for your Game Beaters?
No, I commissioned. There's a guy in the community. His name's Saad Azim.
Yep, I know Sod.
Yeah, Saad did the characters,
Okay.
and then I did the logo.
You did the
like-
Game Beaters logo. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I just wanted someone else outside of me to draw the characters.
Yeah, I'm like the same way. Like I do other logos for other people, but I didn't do my own.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's like the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like I was already subbed to your channel, so yeah, nice.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
It's funny.
Very
Like, you get lost on how many people you sub to, because like
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can't watch everybody's content. It's like
Yeah. Not that YouTube tells you half.
right,
the time.
right, and you don't get
No,
notified
they
for
don't.
anything. All right, let's wrap it up with the game of the month. Bones,
I'm gonna go with Final Fight 2.
DanCav.
I'm gonna go with Castlevania Anniversary Collection, since we're talking about difficult video games to beat. That was a tough one, Castlevania.
Dizzy.
I'm gonna show some love, and I'm gonna say Prince of Persia for the GameCube.
Nice.
Dan B.
So what is video game of the month exactly? That's one
Basically,
thing I
you can. All right, yeah, I forgot to mention that to you. But basically, what you're doing is you pick either any title that you could think of that you either played, purchased, anything. It doesn't have to. It doesn't even have any rhyme or reason. We just do it at the end because it's something to close out the show. But yeah. All
right.
Most of the guys they will pick something that they played, like that was the last game they played.
All right. Well, then I'll go with Trover Saves the Universe for PS4 VR.
Okay. All right. I want to thank you for coming on, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. And as always, the members in here, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
Please
Thanks,
like,
guys.
please like, comment, and subscribe. As always, don't blow, just leave. Later.
Leave it.
Peace.
Yeah.
Bye.
We can't wait to get
I
started.
know, apparently not. Bones.
Yo, 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 yo. 1, 2.
Dan B.
Microphone check. 1 2 1 2.
Dan. Cav.
Yeah. Hey, mic check. 1 2 3.
Dizzy.
Mic check.
All right, let me check that. I'll be right back.